Happy New Year's Day and welcome back to Martin's Koi Pond and Aquatics. And here we are, New Year's Day. It's a lovely morning. I'm sat by the koi pond and the fish are loving life. The winter nets are still on. Now these nets, their purpose is purely to keep leaves out of the pond with the more windier conditions we tend to get in the winter, and they have done a sterling job. There have been very few leaves getting in the pond, and those that have ended up going up the retro bottom drain into the nexus, so not had a problem with leaves in the pond at all this winter. Milo's out here with me. Milo enjoying the weather. What he's really after is that bucket of pellets, but I'm not letting him eat them. So what's going on? Well, not a lot. It's winter mode, and as you know, we here in the UK we have pretty cold winters. Not as cold as some like Canada, where I've got some viewers, but you know, the fish do slow down a fair bit, and on sunny days like this though, they will, certainly in my pond, come to the top, enjoy the sun and look for food. Now I have fed them most of the winter. I stop if the pond gets below 10 degrees C. It's currently at a very nice 12 degrees C. So considering it's the 1st of January 24, that is not to be sniffed at all. So I think what we'll do without further ado is just, and the camera will probably shake a bit here, as I just lob in a couple of handfuls of pellets. That's all they get. They don't get a lot of food, but they'll soon, he says, they'll soon come up and start, there they go, start feeding on that. Now the goldfish are all back in the pond from the holding tank. I felt it was quite cruel to keep them in that. I really don't know what I'm going to do with the goldfish this year. I don't really like them in the pond with the koi. I think it distracts me from the koi. But you see the goldfish are all feeding away. Hopefully my friend Andy will finally get his pond built and some of them can go and live with him, but we'll just see how things go as the year pans out. Now all the fish are in tip-top condition. Some have really put on some weight this winter, which is surprising when you think of how little food's going in, but of course they're not as active, so that food tends to build body mass during the winter rather than energize them so much. So I'm really pleased with the growth I've got. I mean, some of these fish are pretty massive now. I don't know how well that comes across on the video, but I mean, this karashi is just fat as can be, and that, as you can see, loves its food. So the Nexus is still doing a sterling job of keeping the water lovely and clear. I am not running the UV. I turned that off at the end of October. So all I'm running on the pond at the moment is the Nexus. I'm doing weekly cleans of the easy part of the Nexus, but to be honest, I mean, I just cleaned it a couple of days ago and there wasn't a lot of debris in there, but what was in there is best out rather than left festering in the filter. So like I say, the weekly cleans of the Nexus, and when it's not bad like today, I'm actually having 5 minutes sat by the pond, which is rather pleasant. So I've eaten most of those pellets. There's a few left in this corner here, but looking around the rest of the pond, I haven't really been videoing the rest of the pond because of where the sun is at the minute. You wouldn't see much. fortunately the fish have been kind of keeping to this corner. So anyway, that's my New Year's update. Oh, I have got another update actually. There's another film to follow, probably towards the end of January. We had a bit of a disaster with the 800 litre tank in the lounge. It developed a leak, and unfortunately I lost all my fancy goldfish because it developed a leak late on a Saturday afternoon. Well, that's when I found it, and I had no option but to put them in that blue barrel there, which I put in the house with some air stones, but I had no filtration for it because my tank is a sump filter, so there was no filtration I could put in the barrel. I did put some Sea Chem Safe in there, but sadly overnight, on the Saturday night, Sunday morning, all the fancy goldfish died that were in that barrel. And when we removed them and then went to empty the water, it absolutely stunk. So it was clearly an ammonia issue. I mean, I hadn't been expecting a leak, so those fish had been fed very heavily in the run-up to being removed from the tank. So they were clearly putting out a lot of ammonia in that barrel with a small surface area. Unfortunately, it was a recipe for disaster. I did manage to save some that were in a separate bucket, but they were much smaller fish, and they're fine, and they're now in the corner tank. So it was a double disaster: leak in the big tank, which I have repaired, and loss of my big fancy goldfish. Some of those I'd had 2.5 years, so I was considerably upset, to say the least. So what we've done is we've reset the tank up, and I surveyed all my friends and family on what direction I should go with it, and my friends and family have chosen the direction, and I'm really happy with the direction they've chosen. It looks spectacular. I'm on a road trip towards the end of January with my good friend Andy. We're going to Wharf Aquatics to hopefully pick up the final fish for the tank, and then I'll do you a video, and I think you're going to like it when I do it. So out of the disaster has come a phoenix, and yeah, it looks great. Everyone that sees it likes it, so you're in for a treat when I do the video on that. So that will be my next video, which will probably be at the end of January. So Happy New Year again to everyone, and I will see you on the next one.